Hey everybody, it's Brandon Dawson. Welcome back to another episode of Building Billions. I am so excited about this episode. So if you're listening on a podcast, if you're watching it on YouTube, if you're seeing it streamed somewhere else, Instagram or Facebook, here is why I'm so excited about this. For over 10 years, I wanted to bring value to the independent business owner that could allow them to compete with huge firms for benefits for team members so they can attract the right talent, they can keep the right talent, and they can give that talent the opportunity to have the kind of life they want to have with the kind of protection they need that big companies can afford for their employees in order to recruit and keep top talent. And we have finally cracked the code. And the person on this show with me is my business partner. He's been a friend for years. He's worked with me now at Cardinal Ventures for just about 2 years, Sean Conrad. And so we are going to be talking about how we crack the code with being able to provide employee benefits, employee and owner health insurance, elite health insurance without getting robbed or screwed over, so that you can offer absolutely the best of class and attach to our 10X health and employee benefit insurance. Sean, man, this is going to be a fun conversation.
It is going to be a really fun conversation, Brandon, and it's something you and I have wanted to do for years. And so you're really the only person that could deliver this to the small and mid-sized business space, in my view, because this is hard to do. And you've always been great at doing hard things and cracking the code. You did it with how to format small and mid-sized businesses, and we're going to do this now together with insurance.
And when you and I brought this to Grant Cardone and said, Grant, we cracked the code, here's what we could do. He's like, oh man, this is juicy. I'm all in. I want to go crazy with this thing. So what we need to do is probably explain to everybody what the hell we're talking about, and you're the best person to do that. So bring them up to speed as to exactly what we're talking about.
We probably should, and I'm very excited that we have your enthusiasm and Grant's behind it. And let me tell you, this is the perfect time to be talking about this too. So when we talk about people in business, and Natalie has a fantastic book, Teamwork, and we talk all about the importance of growing an organization through people. You've devoted your life to sharing that message with business owners. Well, one part of that, beyond building a culture in a company, attracting great people, is aligning them to the mission of the business and then retaining them. Well, part of how you do that is articulating the big vision of what you're going to go do and how you're going to conquer the world together. But then it's equally important you take care of those people. You do it through compensation, but providing a benefits program for them is really essential. Medical, dental, vision, the foundational coverages that they need to protect themselves and their families. And employees make choices in labor markets all the time on what's going to serve their needs best. Compensation is part of that. Benefits play a really important role. And you know my background, working 20 plus years in the insurance space, working with really large companies. And we got to do all kinds of custom design for them because they had the population sizes and the budgets to do it. And it always felt very unfair to me that the small and mid-sized business owners, those that had 100 employees or fewer, were disadvantaged. They were shut out of that part of the marketplace, shut out of the creativity, shut out from the really good consultants that could help them. And that employee that's considering a small business as a place to work or a large company could make the choice based on benefits to pick the larger firm.
So we're talking about health benefits, we're talking about vision, we're talking about dental, we're talking about hearing
benefits,
because I'm bringing it from the hearing industry, right? And so we're talking about best of class benefits that we can extend to our 10X clients in our 10X community. They can extend to their employees, and something that I don't think anybody's even ever thought they could do it, but we pulled it off, which is those employers, those small business employers, able to offer full stack benefits to their 1099 workers. Walk us through how you pulled that shit off.
That's going to be one of the best things that we do with this, Brandon, and it's something that was very, very difficult to do. I listen to our customers a lot, and that's one of the benefits that I've had working with you and all of our small businesses and being close to Grant too, and listening to the community, the 10X community at large. The reality is we have a lot of businesses that touch our world that have a combination of W-2 employees and 1099 independent contractors. Now, those 1099 independents may not be employees, but to the business owner, they're essential. They are critical to propelling the growth of that organization. And those people have, up to this point, their choices for buying health insurance were slim. And most, if they're doing it at all, are buying it through a state-run insurance exchange, going to a website, making selections for their family. It's very impersonal. It's expensive. And the reality is many Americans are not doing that.
And the coverage sucks.
And the coverage is subpar. What I wanted to do was come up with a way where we could create a parallel offering for those W-2 employees that was world-class, and also an offering for those 1099 independent contractors. Whether they're working for themselves, supporting some of our business owners, maybe they're new as a startup and trying to get their next big thing off the ground, whatever the case is, there's an essential need for every American to have high-quality health insurance. And if they're part of the 10X community, we want that to be world-class. So we leveraged relationships and built a 1099 solopreneur solution for guaranteed issue major medical coverage, options to buy up for vision, dental, life insurance, hearing care benefits. All the things that our plan affords the W-2 employees, we can offer that to this 1099 independent contractor community. And for our customers who are working with us in that small employer space and the W-2 employees, and if they have these independent contractors in their world, they can extend this 10X insurance offering to those 1099 independent contractors and do it without incurring any joint employer liability. So that is a difficult puzzle to put together, but we've been able to do that with your vision and support and that of Grant Cardone's, and we are so excited to roll that out to the entire community.
Grant loves decentralized and creating where there's a centralized powerhouse. He likes to decentralize it. He loves to disrupt. He's done that in crowdfunding. He's raised more crowdfunding dollars than any human being on the planet. Built and amassed over a $5 billion real estate portfolio by bringing all his friends and family and 10X community members in and letting them directly invest alongside of him. And when I talked to him about what we were doing here, he was like, outside of that crowdfunding, I think for me, watching him being his partner now for 4.5 years, this was one of the most excited things I've seen him respond to. He and Elena both, they're like, we got to go full ham on this, because they were small business owners and they know how hard it is and how much it costs and how sloppy the process is and how you're always getting sold a bill of goods working with third-party administrators that are always trying to buffer in their commissions. He's like, you mean we could literally cut the middleman entirely out of this insurance game for benefits and offer world-class benefits to our 10X community and allow them to offer it to people that they're equally interdependent on, their employees, their 1099 workers, things of that nature. And so we released this in a soft release, 3 weeks ago maybe?
That's right.
And now we're getting ready to go full steam ahead. And talk a little bit about, if you were a business owner and you're there with 10 employees, 50 employees, maybe even 100 employees. In fact, we have 200, and this plan blew away our plan. So I'm confident that we could say, if you got 500 employees or less, you should take a hard look at this thing. Talk about why we were able to orchestrate something so rich in benefits to compete against the bigger companies. What were the nuances that you targeted to get us that kind of deal?
Yeah, so there's a couple of key ingredients to this and making this successful and being able to do it at all, Brandon. And one of them you touched on. There is so much profit in the healthcare system for the various layers, insurance companies, pharmacy benefit managers, TPAs. Imagine being able to strip out that entire profit and that apparatus and give that money back to the business owners, the job creators. And that was really the charter that I had in setting down this path, was, can we create something for our community by stripping out all of these cost centers? and then finding a way to bring our community members into that. And we've been able to do that. So that's one leverage point. The other is really taking large group plan structure and strategy and bringing that down to the small business. So when you are working with large employer groups, 1,000 plus employees, you have different funding options. You can move clients from a fully insured plan, which is what most of our small businesses experience. They pay a premium to an insurance company. The insurance company takes care of the claims. And all they know and experience is that they get a 10, 15% rate increase every year, and they have to figure out a way to make that work within their budget. Well, large companies don't have that reality. They have a lot more flexibility in terms of how their plan, their individual company population is performing, and that can positively influence results. So imagine all of our 10X businesses coming together and buying like a giant million-plus member group. And that's exactly what we are doing here. And it allows me to unlock these strategies that have worked for decades for these really large employers, all with the purpose of leveling the playing field for the small and mid-sized business owner and give them access to the same economics that the large employers have always enjoyed.
And you're not just doing this in the employee benefits, but you snuck in property casualty for the business owners. Because you
exactly
found
right.
that a lot of them, when you were looking at our data, you're like, a lot of them are getting taken advantage of. They're getting shitty coverage and they're paying more money. So basically you're like, I just want to include that in assessing for these business owners. So someone could come and say, okay, here's what everything, you can just turn it over to you. Here's what I'm doing. And then we run it through our teams and come back and tell them how much they could save or how much more they could get for less price or whatever it is, better coverage. You know, this insurance game, man, it is a racket, especially on the health benefits side. I've been playing it for years and frustrated with it. And so the fact that we can go out to the 10X community, any business owner we're working with, extend our 10X plan to them, and all they have to do literally is hit a link, talk to our professional, give us a couple pieces of data, and that we can go back and tell them, here's how much better it can be. Here's what it would cost you, everything. It's not a lot. It's not hard, is it?
It's very easy. We built 10xcoverage.com as the place to direct our population. Hit the landing page, answer a few questions. If you're looking for coverage for your business, it directs you one way. Coverage for yourself, it directs you another way. And it's very, very simple. I'll give you two quick stories too. On the individual side, the 1099 solopreneur solution, we had one of our clients who actually went through our whole system and sold his business successfully. He's now working for himself, working with us. He said, I need insurance for myself and my kids. And we directed him to the landing page, start to finish, 7 minutes. He sent me a text. He said, you have made insurance simple. And that was great validation from someone that is in our inner circle and community and really matters.
Well, and I think part of why you did that, though, let's be transparent. You come out of that space. It's like when I start talking about private equity and things, it's because we've experienced. We know what the hell we're talking about. And yet my belief is the reason it seems so hard to get a direct answer. Oh, we've got to do our quotes. We've got to go look at the different plans. We've got to formulate. All that is code for we want to charge you a big commission when we deliver something to you, and somehow we need to prove to you we've created all this value. So, and there has to be enough smoke and mirrors where you feel like, oh boy, they did me a big favor and they're my plan administrator, and so they must have really fought for me. And the truth is, you're like, we're just going to eliminate all the costs associated with all those people and make it super simple. Go in, fill out your information. We'll come back to you with a quote. And if you love the coverage, just move on to it.
That's exactly what we did. Let's cut out the unnecessary layers, the unnecessary cost in that system, and give direct answers to business owners. And I'll give you another quick story because this is relevant for this week. One of our newest customers who is doing everything with us built a business using private equity. Sadly, they picked the wrong partner several years ago. And you and I know how this story goes. Ran a business up to $280 million in revenue at its peak, 800 plus employees. Private equity firm did what they tend to do and grabbed control, started running the business into the ground. Husband and wife team spent $60 million to buy back control of it. Business has slid backwards. We're going to work with them to create an unbelievable comeback story. They have 45 people today on their benefits plan, and they were facing a decision they had to make on renewal coming up this week. And the business owner said to me, I know this is last minute, but can you look at this under 10X Insurance? I said, certainly. We ran this through our rating platform, Brandon, and because we stripped out all that unnecessary cost, we're going to save that business owner 28% or over $100,000 on their decision for January 1st. With no disruption to the employees, we can actually improve the plan in a couple of key ways. Now, for a business like that, with loyal employees who have stuck around when it has not been the easiest place to work, they've taken some pay cuts to stay on the team, they believe in what they're doing. This is going to be a game changer for that business owner to present something of value, a world-class plan at a cost that to them is going to be, I mean, what a time to deliver $100,000 plus savings to that business owner. That is several FTEs for that employee.
That's crazy.
For that employer.
Well, I mean, you did ours for Cardone Ventures.
Right.
And you came back to me and showed me how much you were improving our benefits for our employees, which thrilled me. And then on top of it, after I was all thrilled, you said, by the way, I did it at a 28% decrease in our annual cost, which for 200 employees or 160 employees, that's a huge decrease. And so I was just like, man, I'm so excited about this. And now we're doing it through all of our organizations in the Grant Cardone organizations. We've extended it to 100 of our clients as kind of a beta. Mm-hmm. I'm looking every day at how many are just moving on to the plan. And so look, if you're watching this right now or listening to it and you're like, what else are these guys innovating? We have a lot of other data points coming out, but in my mind, nothing as simple as this, because the impact that this can have on you and your team and covering your families, because really what we're talking about is protecting families and making sure they get elite healthcare coverage and that they get the best of class at a price point that's commensurate with if you were a massively huge organization.
That's exactly what we're talking about. And why I love doing this with you is because look at what you and Grant have done. You have democratized access to information, access to investment platforms like Cardone Capital, which had been shut away from people for so many years until you and Grant come along and decide to offer this. This is the same thing in concept. It's how do we create world-class benefits, make this available to everyone in our community. And the work we do is so important because there are a lot of ways to engineer financial success, and Wall Street does that very, very well. But our clients are making real products in real communities, creating real jobs. And what we can do here is protect those employees and the families that are attached to these businesses, that are attached to our tennis community. That to me is incredibly satisfying, rewarding. It's also imperative that we do it because the industry is stacked against them. And we are the only ones that can really break that apart and change that.
And we're committed to it. Like we every day, hey, what can we do to add value to our community? What can we do? And Grant, every week when I'm talking to him, he goes, what are we doing to add value to our community? What else can we do for our community? And building out multiple decentralized platforms so people can have the leverage of being part of something huge, but at an individual or collective level without giving anything up to get something. And so, to me, this is like the fun part of what we get to do, because we're taking already spent money that's being spent on things that are not giving you much value. We're reducing the spend in most cases, and we're significantly increasing the benefit. And so people are going to appreciate us and they're going to be thankful for us. And this is that John Maxwell, give a hand before you ask for one. It's like, what can we do for you before we get you to try to do anything with us? Let's build a relationship. Let's pick a starting point. And this gives us a starting point with new businesses that never got to work with us, never experienced us. He gives us an opportunity to show them, hey, we're going to invest in you so that we can have a relationship with you and we can all build this 10X community together. And I think this, for me, is what I'm most excited about. Is it's like our ability to give back before we ask anybody to do business with us.
I couldn't agree with you more. And I want to touch on your mission, Grant's mission, to drive value back to the community. What are we doing to drive value? The other thing that we did with this, Brandon, is we are personalizing the healthcare experience in this country again for our 10X community. And what I mean by that is, aside from just the economics, the other thing I wanted to layer in with this entire strategy was a member experience for the 10X community. We've all had the experience, sadly, of calling insurance companies to deal with issues of accessing care at physicians' offices, problems with bills. It's impersonal. It's ineffective. I don't want our 10X community having that experience. So we actually built out a member experience team at 10X Insurance. So that if a member has an issue, accessing care at a doctor, issue with the bill, whatever it is, they have someone they can talk to. They finally have an advocate helping them with healthcare and personalizing this again. And that's what's been missing in this entire healthcare system in the United States for a number of years. And we're going to change that for our members.
Because here's the thing. If we have millions of lives covered, we have a lot of leverage. If somebody wants any of our premium money, they better take care of the people that come in with their 10X Health benefits card. And so look, if you're listening to this, you're like, wow, man, how do I take advantage of this? Tell them where to go again.
Yeah, 10xcoverage.com is the website, 10xcoverage.com. Hit that link. It's a short questionnaire. Our teams will field any questions that you have. Make sure you're in the right product for your business or for yourself if you're a 1099 independent contractor. And we'd love to have you on the plan.
10xcoverage.com, 10xcoverage.com, 10xcoverage.com. Go to 10xcoverage.com. All right, so now everybody knows where to go. So listen, thank you for joining me on another episode of Building Billions with Brandon Dawson and Sean Conrad, where we're talking about how we're bringing massive value to the 10X community, business owners, in order to provide them elite level of health benefits for them, their teams, and their 1099 relationships that they're equally interdependent on to help them build, scale, and grow their business and create massive value. If you're watching this, thank you for watching. If you're listening to it, thank you for listening. And remember, what inspires us, what motivates us, what continues to get us to make these videos, to make these podcasts, is your likes, your when you leave comments, and when you share. That's what we love to see. So thank you for joining me on another episode. Sean, thank you for your dedication of putting this all together. We'll give them an update in about 6 months. If you're a business owner out there or you're an individual and you're like, man, I need a world-class health plan. I need it. Go to 10xcoverage.com. Thanks for listening.